Welcome back to Denton Driven Garage. Today we are working on this 74 crew cab again. Last video we pulled the engine out, but I filmed it in the wrong orientation. I'm going to upload it anyway, but it didn't turn out very good, and I apologize for that. I don't know what I was thinking. I was tired. Whatever. We got the engine out, we got the motor mounts off, got the transmission out. We've got to take the exhaust out and pull our clutch Z-bar out still. That's both pretty quick things. But today we are going to start on this interior teardown. We got the dash and the front seat left in here, and we're just going to clean everything up. We're going to unbolt everything we don't need in there that's broke or whatever, like the interior cabin light that's shattered. We're just going to toss that out. We'll get a new one, and we're going to get it all prepped inside so we can paint the inside, the exterior color, which we have to pick out still, and then I'm going to paint the firewall and whatnot at the same time, so that way when I put the engine in and go to do, I can like move it around when I do the exterior color. So that's kind of the plan. So let's start on tearing the interior apart and see where we get. We gotta get all this stuff off, but let's get to it. Well, we got all the junk out of the way now, so we can start our tear down. So we're going to start on tearing this thing apart. I'm going to set you guys up on a time lapse on the inside here. We're going to take the dash out. We're going to take the gauge cluster out and all that, the seat. We're going to take everything we need out of the way is coming out. So we got the dash out and everything, so that's pretty good. I'm pretty happy with that progress. That wasn't too bad. There was a lot of stuff that was already partially unbolted, which was kind of surprising. I don't know what was the deal with that, but And then I think what we'll do next, we might start working on removing this cross member, pulling the exhaust out, prepping this thing for the Cummins. We got to pull our steering box off and swap to we're going to do a power steering swap on this truck. So we got to pull those steering parts apart. I am missing my drag link right now, and I think it's on my other axle that's actually for this truck. So I won't be able to like complete the steering today, but we could possibly start putting the box in, because I do have the power steering box for it. So we could start looking at how to do that. We can pull this box off, and I can show you guys how to do the power steering swap. I think that's what we'll do. Okay, so I'm going to set you guys up on time lapse out here, and then we will get started. So we got all the old steering out. Well, not the steering shaft in the column. Steering column is still in. And we didn't take off the assist cylinder because we're actually removing this front axle and putting in a different front axle. So we're just going to leave that attached to that axle. But our new steering box goes right here. Does not use that hole. The pitman arm is below the frame and then goes to our drag link to our steering knuckle. And the shaft, the top steering shaft, comes up like this. I'm going to put the new one on and show you guys. We're just going to test fit it because there's some cleaning we got to do. And painting and whatnot before we start putting stuff back together here on this truck. So we're not going to fully install this steering box, but we're going to test fit it. I'll kind of show you what we're doing and how and why this works, kind of. And so you can do this on your truck if you want to do a power steering, if you have the power assist and it's leaky. Because normally the either proportioning valve or, which I'll show you, that's the proportioning valve. It's proportioning valve and drag link all in one piece. They normally leak really bad. And then it's a manual steering box. And then this powers the cylinder. So this tells it whether to send oil. It's like a spool valve. So it drives that way, and then it'll send pressure through the lines to your cylinder and help you assist. It's not super strong, but it does work. But it's not very efficient, and they tend to leak a lot. And there's your cylinder. Kind of looks like a steering stabilizer, but it's actually a hydraulic cylinder. And the pump pressurizes the system and then goes to the proportioning valve, and then the proportioning valve tells the cylinder what to do. So that's how it works, but it's not very reliable. It's not very good, so they went away from that, and we're going to do a 79 style power steering box with a bracket that bolts it up into that frame, and I'll show you what we're going to do. the bracket's already made, and I already have the box and everything. It was actually out of another truck I built years ago, the Fummins truck that I tore apart. That one was converted over. It had this steering originally, because it was the same style frame as this one. But we just robbed the parts out of that one, and we're going to throw them in here and make this truck good. So let's get to it. I'm going to show you the box and whatnot. I'm going to set you guys up on this tool cart so you guys can see what I'm doing, and I'll show you the pieces, parts and pieces and whatnot. It's a heavy box. So it's got a flat stock that meets up with the steering box, and then a piece of square tube, and then another piece of flat stock that is the bolt pattern of this frame. So we're gonna plunk this on and test fit everything. Gotta get a couple more bolts because somehow in transport from my storage unit to here, we ended up losing a couple bolts. So we'll stop back at the bolt rack and see what we can find. Found one more bolt that's similar, so it is metric. We're gonna have to get some more bolts. I'm short on standard bolts. I have a decent amount of metric stuff, probably because I mostly work on standard stuff. So it sits in the rail like so, which I gotta slide it forward a little bit. And there's a little bit of a clearance problem with the radiator. I had to trim one of the tangs of the radiator before, and I can't remember if I had to trim a little bit of the core support to make this work, but I think it was just the radiator if I remember right. But this is a great swap. It is night and day difference, performance, steering wise. I would highly recommend doing this on any highboy truck that you guys have. We're going to end up doing the same thing on that truck back there. That one's not the same frame. That one's actually a two-wheel drive frame. And we're converting it to 4. But we're going to do a similar box setup to this. So as you can see, this one just barely clears the frame there. So this bracket wouldn't work on just a regular two-wheel drive frame. You'd have to make your own or cut the frame rail to clear that. Because if the frame rail is straight, like this truck over here, this one's straight through here. So this is probably gonna have to get cut out, notched to make that work on this truck. And we might, can't remember, whoops, hit the camera on the frame there. Yeah, we'll have plenty of clearance on the bottom. It's just the top part that would be the problem, as you can see here. So that is the setup here, and then you just run a slip shaft, and you want a shorter steering column. So, but that steering column is all wrecked anyway. But the steering shaft you want is a slip style. So if you got into an accident, it will telescope, collapses, so it doesn't shove the steering column through your body in a wreck. So you want to get one of those. And then these lines just hook up to your power steering pump. You got just pressure line and a return line. So it's very simple design. And then obviously you can see it's pretty fairly flat there, height wise. So your drag link will go below, above, especially if you're going to lift it, but which we are. Otherwise the drag link might be a little bit like this in this ride height position, but and you want your drag link to be fairly flat for best steering performance. There's our power steering swap. Show you guys. It's a very simple design. You guys can make that at home pretty easily with just, you know, hanging your box up and then working on trying to figure out how much space you need from the frame, and then 2 flat plates so you could cut out, torch out, or whatever. So, but there it is. We're going to wrap it up for this video, and I will catch you guys next time. Like and subscribe.